No, raising a child, being married, having a family, and then like, look, doing the business like doing your own business 9 to 5. How do you organize, structure your day? Because that is mental. You know what
Yes,
I mean?
bro. What I come to find out, because what a lot of people try to do a lot of things within one day.
Yes.
Try to fit everything within one day. But there is what I've come to find out is by nature, just by design, the good Lord has given me the grace to be very administrative and organized just in my own life. And so what I do, I've structured my week to focus on certain things on that day.
Right.
Not saying that that day would take up. So, for instance, Mondays is more so business days. Like outside of my 9 to 5, it's business. It's business days on my own. So after my 9 to 5, or if I have time on my lunch break, then I will look into doing some business things.
Mm,
I will contact people. I would work on some little administrative work that I need to work on. I would even vision cast. If people know what vision cast is, thinking into the future, what is the next steps.
huh?
On Tuesdays are podcast days. So I will focus more so on getting things done for the podcast, any promotions, seeing if I can partner with anybody. Wednesdays is family. Like focus on the family. Thursdays is more business because business. I'm trying to get to a certain point in my life.
Mm-hmm.
um Fridays is things with not my nonprofit or any other personal ventures. We just started, me and this group of people, we have started a nonprofit. It's in the infancy stages right now. It's going to launch. We're hoping in 2021. We're just doing like some bylaws and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Um, Fridays is my personal days. you know, Saturdays is brainstorming, get away from everything, don't look at anything. And Sundays is basically my Mondays. I plan out my week. And so, so it's structured like that. And so I think that's the key is like actually going like structuring your week instead of focusing and trying to do everything in one day. Take your days and make those a focus of what those days are going to be. Yes, there's still family things. Yes, there's
Mm,
still other little tidbits that's going to be here and there that comes in on those days. But instead of like letting those little fires overtake the main thing, you know, jot them down. All right, I'm gonna focus on that later. So
yeah.
that's how I go about it. That's how I try to go about it. I'll say I'm about like 90% effective of it.
90%. Okay. God damn. I was like basically saying 90% because you're kind of like tied into a question where I was gonna go. Because like
Yeah.
this is the thing. That to me is like, don't get me wrong. We all got to set sort of targets and goals and everything like this, but there's sometimes when I got to hit 100% of all of this. ah, like 100% is like, yeah, that's a tall order to hit, and
But the thing is, I've learned there's a great TED talk, and I don't even know the name of it, but I know the guy he talked about marginal adjustments, making marginal adjustments, marginal steps. And a lot of times we try to go, let's say there's a cliff. You want to try to jump over the cliff to the
yeah,
other side of the cavern. But instead of like taking that huge big leap to the other side of the cavern, you know what? How can I actually scale down this cliff wall,
mm,
go across the valley, and climb back up? I'm eventually going to get there, but I need to take small steps to get there
yep,
instead of taking that big leap. Because every time I try to take that big leap and get all the way over there, then I'm going to keep falling. I'm going to fall so many times rather than taking a small steps that will eventually get me to the same location. You
yeah,
know, and this would be like I guess like a little mind blowing thing. We talk about taking that big step, and a lot of times people think that big step or big jump or big faith of action is to get all the way to the next step like super fast. But the big step or the big leap or big faith is taking those small steps.
mm,
You know,
yeah.
and so that's how I go about it, man. That's how I look at life.
Yeah, no, I like the way you said that because I was watching this documentary. What you know? There's this place in Yellowstone where basically it's just like you like climbers go there all the time, and like there's the North Face. Oh, come on now, what is it called? Escapes me, but it's basically like this thing is like sheer, just like vertical, and like there's these two guys who were like, okay, climbing the North Face of this, like it's meant to be the hardest one, and like
Mm-hmm.
the lead climber, because he's like mate
Yeah.
was like sort of a little bit gassed and he was left behind, and like he was still like carrying on, and he kept on trying to jump this sort of like gap
Yeah.
again, 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 10, 20, 30 times, and then basically he was like, nah, sod it, I can't do this. No, no, he went all the way down, like
Mm-hmm.
about a good maybe 100, 200 feet. Then he
Mm-hmm.
came across, like he went the weirdest way around it, but it took him like half a day, but he got to the other side. But yeah, and it was like, okay, and away he went.
He
His
made it.
mate followed sort of like about 2, 3 days later, and
Yeah.
like basically like because like he led the way. His mate just jumped it and like made completed it. It was like basically both versions were those insane. Fuck. Yes, that's like it's just yeah.
And I would even go on to say, like if people were to go on my website and look at all the different stuff I have and do, they're like, man, you're wearing too many hats. Because I don't know if you've heard the term, um, a master of none, but like yeah, you're proficient in so many things, but master of none. Um, the and so if people were to look at all the stuff I'm doing, they're like, man, what are you mastering? For me, if you go on my website, you can see my heart, my vision, my
Mm,
mission in my life, which is to create legacy. So I'm everything that I'm doing is to build up generational wealth, generational legacy for
mhm,
my children and the children's after them, but also for local communities and after that. So everything I'm doing is all part of that vision and that mission.
mm.
So what I'm trying to master, what I'm trying to take on and do is do some generational work.
Yeah,
And all of these different things have a part to play in that.
yeah. But I would like when people go, yeah, you're putting on too many hats. You're like not mastering any like real skills because
Mm-hmm.
you're so far spread out. But I would say you could argue you're just being the ignition point for it at this present time. You're
Yeah.
getting it started. Basically, yeah, when things start to get to a certain point, then it's a case of, yes, you'll bring in like people to help you to sort of like
Correct.
push it that way. And then, like, what you are at the beginning to what you are at the end is going to be something I would imagine quite considerably different through that sort of learning and evolution, as they put it. I could be wrong. You tell me.
No, you're totally right, man. I mean, even now, like I would be amiss and very have lots of regrets if I failed to say my wife is a huge part of a lot of things that I'm doing now
I feel she's
because
knocking on the side
um
right now.
I
That's like,
know, right?
let's give me credit, son. I swear. Exactly.
Because I mean, she does. She has her own ventures. She has her own things that she does as well. You
Mm,
know, she's a musician. She's a singer. She wonderful wife and mother. But she also goes to school. She works. She does a lot. But we work as a team. So if I have something to do, then like she'll take up on the brunt of the work with the children, and vice versa. If she has stuff to do, then I'll take on the brunt of the work with the children. So
mm,
like my early partnership literally is my wife. But I agree, going forward, like that's something that I'm learning.